Welcome to Inviting Oneness, a podcast where we explore true stories from friends and members of EquaSion. Stories where the illusion of separateness gave way to the deeper truth of our shared humanity. Oneness isn't an idea, it's an experience. And today, we continue listening for it, one story at a time. Our guest today is Haroon Moghul. Haroon is the Muslim chaplain at Xavier University, the author of 2 Billion Caliphs, A Vision of a Muslim Future, the writer of a newsletter called Sunday Schooled, and a board member at EquaSion. He's also a close friend and my co-host for our podcast, Avenue M. The poem you'll hear today was written by Haroon, and an excerpt of the poem will launch the final Faith and Friendship groups over the coming weeks. Faith and Friendship groups are interfaith small groups gathered around a range of themes and practices, including having difficult conversations, prayer, belong dinners, faith communities in solidarity with immigrants, and sacred connections. Our Religious 101 group that visits different places of worship across the Greater Cincinnati region. Each gathering begins with a poem and a connecting question. After sharing the poem, Haroon responds to this connecting question. What question about your faith are you still carrying? What question about your faith are you still carrying? As you listen, we invite you to reflect on that question for yourself. Here's Haroon sharing his poem, There Will Be a Last Muslim.
There must have been a last Muslim whom God chose to turn off the lights, who took for Semitism's sake a final fumbled step off Spanish soil. Better, they said, to love, to lose, and to go, than to linger in Morisco limbo. Except what the hell did they know? Read, God said, but also to write. We are pens, blood is the ink with which we speak. What do you do when all of your world turns on all of you? No hay moros en la costa. Then there were no Moors. Then there was no coast. Their sails unfurled, wind and distance diminished his old world. Adhans became whispers, then memories, the courtyards vacant, bankrupt, then weightless photons, the future's foreordained bosons. In the spaces where you leave your shoes and quantum foam means hope and failure fuse. He sighed and he cried, the one become the other, not little tears but heaving sobs, and every tear an ocean 9 centuries cold, till the corsair captain put his hands on his trembled shoulder to softly scold. Brother, your trauma will sink our ummah. He did as he was told. He dried his eyes and saw with dead glazed gaze the parapets of his grandfather's castles made immodest by unfriendly flags, though their foreign imam came by with a mirror for this pauper. Brother, there are full mosques and refilled casks, new lives in Sarajevo, or perhaps you'd rather restart in Tripoli or in Alexandria. This Bahri Jihad might even blast on to Bandar Aceh. But this man had business with the one responsible. Take me to Mecca. The imam cornered the captain. Rais, we owe him this. To God's home he relented, where months later, worn down and down, this deportee dashed with a speed he knew not he still had. To the very door of the Kaaba, vocative particle plus definite article. Ya Allah, he said, I wish not to go to the future, not any afterlife. I care neither to return nor to wander any longer. I demand only to know by what justice, my Lord, you keep your home, while you've seen fit to drive me from mine. The stunned pilgrims spiraled away from this blasphemy, till there was just one man before just one God. A voice, contingent subject, direct object, booming in his, their hearts, as much as outside and apart. My child, and with this alone the clouds prostrated, raining, crying, frightened to the point of dying, letting go as children must, and all the mountains of all the planets like carded wool, and 70,000 veils of light and dark paused to hear him descend, where stunned worshippers could stare only dumbstruck to the sky, and Satan sneered. He heard that ragged peasant, and not I. My child, he said, can you not see that I have dressed my house in black, because I am in mourning for you?
Haroon, thanks so much for being willing to share your poem for the final Faith and Friendship groups of the summer. The way this has worked up to this point and how it will work today as well is we've asked the poets to share their poems or their prayers in some cases, and then for them to answer the connecting question, which will begin all of the small groups in the coming weeks, which inspired the poem or was connected to the poem that you just read. So could I ask this connecting question of you, and then feel free to respond in any way you'd like. Here's the connecting question. What question about your faith are you still carrying? What question about your faith are you still carrying?
How do we know what the things that happen to us mean? I chose the poem because Sometimes when we encounter history, we have a tendency to focus on famous people or beautiful places, and we don't always know what to do with the pain and the hardship and the loss. But to me, that's probably the point most of us can connect to. We just don't always have the religious language to know how to explain not just what hardship feels like, but what it means in our lives.
Thanks for joining us on Inviting Oneness, where we share real stories of connection that dissolve the illusion of separation and reveal our common humanity. To learn more about the festival, our work at EquaSion, or to share your own story of oneness, visit us at EquaSion.org. Until next time, may we keep inviting oneness within ourselves and with one another.